recording, so many buttons to push. I just want one remote control.
Right,
so
no kidding.
Sit back and do
Technology isn't as easy as it looks,
Exactly.
right?
There's still some manual stuff to it.
Yeah.
All right, how do you pronounce your
Gerathonis.
Gerathonis. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, here we go. 3, 2,
right.
1. We are here at the 2017 CU's CEO Executive Team Network with Becky Gerathonis.
Yeah.
From Summit Credit Union. How are you, Becky?
I'm great. Thanks.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
How's the show so far? What's stood out so far?
It's great. So it's early on in the first day, right? But it's great. A couple things that kind of popped to mind right away is just the reminder that credit unions have a lot of what it's going to take to be successful in the digital age. We have relationships, we have members, we have the right mission, right? So it's about how we blend digital and technology with all of that. It's not replacing what we do. It's it's adding technology and digital to what we already do well as an industry. So always a good reminder.
And the collaboration thing. I can't tell you how many times I've heard collaboration at this conference already, and we're only like halfway through day 1.5.
Right.
So
awesome thing about credit unions, right? Awesome thing is that we share with each other. We always talk about how to solve problems together because we're all in it for the same reasons. And so it's great to be reminded of that when you come to a conference like this and how dynamic and collaborative our credit union industry is because we all really do care about the same thing, well-being of our members. And so that's awesome.
From the credit union perspective, I always like talking to credit unions, obviously, because I get kind of the front line perspective. What do you want to accomplish here? What are your goals here? And then what do you want to take back to Summit to make it an even better credit union?
Well, I think at conferences like this, it's always about what do you take back that kind of resonated with you, that frames an issue a different way, has light bulbs go off for you, how can you take that back and make some light bulbs go off for your team? So how do you extend the learning that you had when you get back home, right? And so I think that's what's great about a conference like this. Maybe we've all heard presentations on digital and fintechs before, but everyone frames the issues a little bit differently. So if there's something that kind of makes it click for you, how do you take that back to your team? And always relationships. Always, every time you sit down, you learn from the person sitting next to you about something, what they're doing, how they're tackling it, and like I said, we share with each other. So.
Exactly. What works, what doesn't work, that's the beauty of it all. So very cool. All right, now being the Senior Vice President of Operations, what keeps you awake at night concerning your credit union and then obviously trickling down to your members? Is there anything that like, oh my gosh, I need to get this done, or this issue or this trend is kind of rearing its head and coming down the railroad tracks? What else?
Well, there's always going to be that, right? And so I would say more in the long view, what I feel like we always have to be focused on is how we're making a difference for our members, and do we have people that want to make a difference for our members? So attracting and retaining talent is key. We're a people business. Whether it's serving members directly or not serving members directly, having people that are aligned toward making our members' financial lives better is really important. And so I would say finding and keeping the right people that are passionate and engaged in the credit union is always going to be job number one in a lot of ways that can help take care of our members. And so I keep me awake at night. It's probably how do we be sure we have the best people, keep them aligned, and keep them passionate and engaged for our members.
Yeah, there is a talent war out there. I think we just had Tom Davis from CSU in here, and he was talking about the talent war that's out there, that we have to gain and retain those top folks out there in this industry to keep us moving forward. People matter. They're the biggest asset we have.
They do. And the good news is, we do good things for people. That's why we exist.
Yeah.
And so finding people that care about that, if they care about that, they can be successful as a credit union. So how do you be sure that you're telling that story and keeping that top of mind, not just when people are looking for places to work, but in deciding to stay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And credit unions are so cool because the mission runs so much deeper than the transaction, So it's so awesome to see that. And that's, from the studies that I've read, millennials really like that, and that's who's coming up the workplace chain. So
I think the speaker already this morning talked about that. We're already aligned with that, right? We're aligned with that from a consumer perspective and from an employee perspective. But how do you tell that story? Because just because we are doesn't mean people know it before they apply or decide to come to your credit union. And also, you have to be sure that they feel it once they're there. And so, how do you keep that? How do you keep that going?
Well, that's the $64,000 question.
Right.
that I'll let you handle.
Yeah, right.
So, all right, wrap-up question here, because there's a lot of people out here. I'm sure you want to talk to them all.
Yeah.
What's the outlook, based on what you do at Summit, what's the outlook for the rest of 2017 and then even going into 2018?
Sure. Well, the outlook, I think it's really just continuing to layer in technology when it makes sense, when it can make people's lives easier, whether that be our members, our employees, how we create experiences that are easier for people, but also not losing where we add value and how we can add value to that equation. It's not replacing what we do face-to-face. It's not replacing what we do over the phone. It's creating a total experience, layering in technology, and not just in every day, how people use us every day, how people interact with us every day, at times in their lives where they need something, right? So I think it's really always going to be about how do we leverage technology to make experiences better in a way that really makes sense and keeps the whole experience engaged.
Well, there's such a, it's kind of cool to be in this, it's really cool to be in this industry today, because there's so many channels to touch the members. There's, you got the folks that still really enjoy the branch.
Right.
You got the folks that really enjoy the desktop experience. You got the folks that enjoy the mobile experience.
Right.
There's so many channels to address these days. I mean, how do you guys keep that juggling in order?
Well, you have to, right? I mean, I think our experience is that the more you offer, the more people use, right? So digital use is growing like crazy, but people still come into the branch.
Right.
And they come into the branch not just for routine transactions, but they come into the branch when they want something, when they need a problem solved, when they have a loan need, something like that. So they want all of it, and so it is our job to juggle and make sure that we're investing in all of it in the right ways and making it all as convenient for them as possible. It's not one or the other. It's all of it.
It's all of it, yeah.
It's all of it, and that's what they expect, and that's what they want, and how do we do that in a way that makes sense for us in the long term, for our members in the long term. It's always a juggling act, but that's why we're here.
Yep. Well, and you guys are doing it right, so keep up the good work. Becky, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks
Appreciate
for having
it. I know
me.
you got a busy schedule, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Have
it.
a good
well
one.
done. Keep up the good work.
Thanks.
Yay! Look at that.